There is no rest now short of water, Lawrence. On the other side of that. And how much of that is there? I am not sure, but however much, it must be crossed before tomorrow's sun gets up. This is the sun's anvil. It's not often you see a team start a day 200 runs ahead, and still feel like they're in trouble. This was England's rare distinction on Perth's third day. Michael Clarke began it on the telly talking about England just needing to find a way past Steve Smith. The problem with that was finding a way past Steve Smith. Wherever we went last night, people were talking about him, Gerard Whitley said later on ABC Radio. And they were all talking about a double century. He was on 92, but they could see it fall short. Which is ridiculous. It was ridiculous, for anyone but Australia's captain. Such is his sense of inevitability. Which is what brought to mind Omar Sharif's scene from Lawrence of Arabia, as his Sheriff Ali regards the implacable Nefu Desert. The sun's anvil for a bowling side, standing at one end of a Smith innings, could feel like that. Looking out, but not knowing how distant the far edge lies. The long, baking hours ahead. Privation and torment. The spectre of madness. 7.5 hours later, there was Smith walking off the same ground. Not just unbeaten, but almost untroubled. Fatigue his only opponent, his companion a man restored. The captain had the soothsayer's double hundred in his keeping, while the returning Mitchell Marsh had vindication with a huge unbeaten hundred of his own. Smith had gone about his achievement with relentless efficiency and a lack of risk. He started the day with a couple of boundaries through mid-wicket to tick off his 100, but shifted down thereafter. Only another dozen fours were hit in the 137 runs he would add before stumps. The previous day, he had hit 13 fours and a 6 out of 92 runs. From dominant to durable, relentless singles and twos became his mode. That might not seem damaging, but his sheer volume of batting time piled them up at a good rate. He added 90 runs in 167 balls up until tea, before slowing up in the final session as his epic caught up with him. It's not like there were distractions. Shaun Marsh was out in the first session, after which Smith was whacked on the hand by Craig Overton. But the next ball he glided to third man for 4, in a weird drunken hornpipe of a shot that had him gangling well wide of his body, but still perfectly controlling the deflectio. The day before, he jabbed an equally awkward tuck through square, improvising at the last second when surprised by low bounce, middling it to the fence nonetheless. "Shift me if you can." "You are mad," says Sheriff Ali. "The Nefood cannot be crossed." "I'll cross it if you will." "You." "It takes more than a compass, Englishman. The Nefood is the worst place God created." This group of Englishmen soon lost any pretense to Lawrence's resoluteness. Joe Root became so desperate that any contact with Smith's PAD brought a doctor's referral. As cricket writer Dave Ticker Riley observed, that approach might have soaked up all England's reviews in another 60 overs. His intended joke came true.